Previously on BadSeed Tech. The other thing about this layout is that it doesn't have the universal case swap appeal that we saw on the 60HE. At this point, we're limited to whatever Wooting produces. Well, that didn't take long. Just back at the end of September, we looked at the highly anticipated Wooting 80HE, and one of the things that was pretty polarizing for people was the layout. The Wooting 60HE was celebrated based on the idea that it was a pretty standard tray mount 60%, so you had a lot of options if you wanted a case swap. Like the KBDFans Tofu Redux, which I personally use for a more premium sound and feel over the stock case, but the 80HE doesn't have that same universal ability. And the first party case options for the 80HE from Wooting were kind of a low point for me. The base model plastic case didn't really feel like it hit the bar quality wise, and the zinc case, while it felt a lot more premium, also increased the cost, is pretty plain in terms of design and has some aesthetic drawbacks like not having the swappable feed available in black. So KBDFans is back, in record speed too, with their new GT-80 case. This is incredibly impressive looking for the price, and it opens up a lot of color options, so let's see and hear what this has to offer. So around this time last year, I did a promotional spot for this. This is the Carpio 2.0 from Delta Hub, and they're sponsoring today's video too. I'd started using this a few months prior to doing that spot, and I've used this every single day since. Late last summer, I started having issues with my right wrist after gaming 2 to 3 hours a day and then turning around and editing for another 6 to 10 hours on any given day. It was also being aggravated by lifting heavy in the gym, which is something I do almost every day. My doctor told me something had to give, and I really wasn't trying to hear that. So the Carpio 2.0 is a really simple device that elevates your wrist and holds it in a better position, and for me, even a year later, it's been an absolute game changer, and despite being a YouTuber, that's not a phrase I use lightly. The bottom is PTFE, like a mouse skate, and the top is silicone, so all you do is just drop the back of your palm right in and hold your wrist like normal. Now you've got a better wrist position, and I move my wrist a lot less because there's less friction, so you can engage your whole arm a lot easier. The ones you're seeing on camera are the same ones I've been using for well over a year. As you can see, these have held up great. I've since graduated to running one under each hand, and as long as you're using a large desk mat, your mouse hand can just slide over to the keyboard, and it's like you've got a wrist rest that moves with you. Now, obviously, I'm not a medical professional. That would be terrifying, and I can't promise that these will work for your specific situation, but for me, they have absolutely allowed me to continue to do the things I love and depend on to earn a living. Right now, Delta Hub is running some great holiday deals that run through December 17th, so using my code BadSeedTech can save you even more. If you spend a lot of time in front of a keyboard, I highly encourage you to check out the Carpio 2.0 by clicking the link down in the description. So KBDFans was nice enough to send me their earliest completed prototype on this. I think this is the same copy they used for all the photography on the site. This is super early too, so we'll talk about all the changes to the production version as we go. Straight off the rip, this case is a massive leap forward in terms of design and quality for KBDFans. It's very reminiscent in both those metrics to boards from Gray Studio. They make some really high-end custom keyboards, and if you had just handed me this case and asked me to guess who manufactured it, that would be my guess. There's really only a couple clues here that it's not them. The quality of the anodizing on the aluminum is very good. There's a brass weight here. It uses a ball catch system for getting into the case, so no screws. There's nice detailing. The edges are beveled. This is really well executed. There's a couple options too. You can get the top panel in blank or with the brass accent badge that I have here. You can't add a badge later. You have to commit to the design you want when you order. You also have the option of using a blank brass accent piece on the outside of the lower case, or you can install the optional strap holder if you want to bring that flight strap look back to your board. And both options for that lower accent piece are included with the case. Now, all that said, the price on these start at only $119 for the blank option and go up to $125 for the badge option. They have extra accents too in a ton of different colors for $3 a go. This price includes the 5 standard anodized colors and the 2 E-coated options too. I'm honestly shocked at how affordable this is. Wooting's own zinc case goes for $109, but you do have to figure in true cost. Like here in the US, Wooting will ship that case free, and you get a carry case, so after tax, my cost would be right under $117. From KBDFans to the East Coast, you're looking at $28 shipping, so after tax, it's just over $160. The version I have here today is the anodized gray. This design does move the USB from the left to a centered setup, and this JST cable is just a prototype. The final version should be the same one that Wooting is using, so it will support 8K polling, but my prototype version does not. Inside along the edge, we have little silicone bumpers around the upper and lower that help isolate the two pieces and reduce vibration. The brass weight is a through design, so it's both inside and outside the case for acoustics. Mine's not coated, but all the production units are, so you don't have to worry about them oxidizing over time. Outside of that, the only design difference between my version and the production version is that they don't have a compatible diffuser for the LED bar ready to go. The one included with the 80HE is not compatible with this case, but it still looks pretty sick without it. Swapping into this case could not be easier. You just pull the top plate off, connect the included JST cable, drop the module in, and close it up. You are limited to a 7-degree typing angle on the GT-80. There's no adjustment feet here. Still, it's only a 21mm front height, so this probably won't be a big concern for a lot of people. Fully built out, these weigh nearly identical at just under 1.9 kilos. While I do like the improvements that Wooting made to their lacquer humbucker switches, my personal favorite option for Hall effect switches have been the Jade Pros from Gateron. But I finally picked up the Geon Raw HEs, and these sound really controlled and crisp to me. I don't get that weird, like, squelchy sound that usually plagues HE switches. These kind of remind me of like traditional Cherry MX Blacks or Nixies. They've got the same kind of powdery feel to the actuation. Here comes a bunch of sound tests. Listening to those back, I actually prefer the sound of the Wooting zinc case. It generally sounds a little lower pitched to me. With the GT-80, we start to introduce some hollowness that's really apparent on the spacebar. There's just enough room in the bottom of the GT-80 to put some foam in the lower, so I used the foam directly from the Wooting case. And that made things worse, I think. It seems to suck all the low tones out and leave us only with the sound of the switches, which with Hall effect is not really what you want to spotlight. So unlike the Redux case with the 60HE, I consider the GT-80 to be an upgrade in aesthetic only. Both options sound the closest to me when you're using the Geon Raws. I did put this thing through a lot of testing just to make sure there were no grounding issues or anything weird going on, and outside the JST cable not supporting 8K polling, which I knew going in, I didn't have any issues at all. One of the bigger challenges with this case too is the wait time. These are in pre-order right now for batch 2. Batch 1 should be shipping to early buyers by the end of January. Batch 2 is not shipping until May, so I wouldn't sleep on this if this is something that you want. But this won't be the only game in town. KBD may already have plans for a more complex premium version in the pipeline. There it is, short and sweet today. It's a really nice case, really impressive to see from KBD fans, but it's not an automatic no-brainer for me like the Redux is for the 60HE. The aesthetics and the color choices are really what sets this apart, and that catchball closure system is super nice if you're someone that tweaks their board a lot. Sound is totally subjective. You can make your own call there. And remember, there's no height adjustment on this case, even though Wooting's current solution looks pretty orthopedic if you do opt to use the larger feet. Let me know if you have any specific questions in the comments and I'll do my best. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all in the next one. Stay up.